Here's 5 little things you might not know about 10.1. So, number 1, the old Heroic Dungeon Weekly has been updated to Season 2. Now, we know we typically get it from the northern section. No changes there. Instead of having 2 quests that we used to get, we only get the 1. And it has been updated for Season 2. You can see you have the opportunity of picking up either the Heroic Dungeon Delver's Trophy Chest, which contains a piece of Champion 1 out of 8 item level gear. So 415 is what it starts at, with the capability of going all the way up to 437 once you officially acquire all the crests and everything like that. Likewise, you can also have the option to, instead of picking that particular item up, you can get yourself a free Drake's Shadowflame crest. Now, you'll see you get 15 fragments, and 15 fragments guarantees you 1 whole chest, crest, sorry. And as you can see, it's important anyway. You'll get your reputation with the Niffin, and your typical usual spiel of all the reputations go up by 250. It is important to note here though, and not many people have mentioned it, but it looks like this particular trophy chest is only a cloak. I've done it on 3 alts myself now, as well as a few other guildies. Every single one of us have all confirmed that it was a cloak. So I'd imagine you're hard fixed into the cloak slot for a 415, and it can go up to 437 like I said. And with current actual crests and flight stones available, you can max it out at 424. So not bad for a cloak, but in saying that, if you already have an embellished cloak or anything like that, then it may not be worth it for you. And then by all means, you could technically pick up a Drake's crest instead if you prefer. Number 2 revolves around Ponzo. Now, Ponzo, the new vendor, specifically has a lot of high value items based around professions. There's obviously mounts and different things like that. You'll also have access to a regular source of a new map for your sniffing sneaking. But most noticeably, we got the cream, the timeshare voucher. These are used for one-time purchases for new recipes from your recipe vendor, and likewise one-time purchases for new knowledge points for your respective professions. So very important, but it is key to note that at level 10 on the Niffin Renown, we specifically get this lovely new ability to grab boulders instead of the bricks that we currently have for barter. So they'll be called barter boulders. Now this will actually completely change the cost associated with Ponzo. So as you can see here, this particular timeshare, for example, will cost 80. However, when you get access to the boulders, that cost will completely change, and it will shrink you down to maybe 40 boulders instead of 80 bricks. So if you're not too fussed about the time-sensitive nature of some profession stuff and you're happy to get it eventually, wait until your Niffin Renown has gone up to level 12, and you'll see the new costs associated with the new items with the boulders, and they're what you'll be finding throughout the world now. And likewise, any spare and leftover bricks you should be able to transfer at a ratio, I think it's like 1 to 3 or maybe 1 to 5. All your bricks into boulders from there as well. So if you do have any extras, you can always turn them into boulders, and boulders will be your new currency going forward, and it does work out cheaper for you in the long run. So keep that in mind. Number 3 is revolving around the intrinsic value behind normal mode raiding. Now, moving into the new gearing system, we obviously know there's flight stones and crests and all this stuff, and all PvE gear can now has upgrade tracks and things like that. Now, most important about the normal mode raiding, I think everyone's been drilled in plenty of videos and sources online showing or trying to explain how the new upgrade system works. Once you get in game, it feels really sort of understandable, right? Like, it's hard to explain, but it's physically easy to understand in game. So I'm not really too worried about that. Assuming that you at least half know what I'm talking about when it comes to the new upgrade system, I want to talk about the importance of normal mode rating moving forward within that. So we obviously have normal Aberrus starting out at 415 eye level. That's your base entry level normal mode. It's what we would know as 389 eye level from season 1. And then the top end bosses still within normal cap out at 424. And this is what we would know as 398 eye level from the original normal mode rating. Now, in that capacity with Vault of Incarnates, it was just done. You would never do normal mode ever again beyond the first week, maybe 2 weeks, if you're still trying to get certain tier pieces for some classes, trying to get their 4 set done. However, this is going to far exceed in terms of like longevity for normal mode rating because of these new upgrade paths. So to give you an idea, every single normal mode piece starts out on the champion track. As you can see, 1 out of 8. But most importantly, this will cap out at 8 out of 8 champion, which is item level 437, and only 1 notch lower than the highest possible upgrade you can get out of normal or heroic or anything. the entire upgrade system track stops at 5 out of 5 heroic or hero track, sorry. And yeah, 8 out of 8 champion is literally just one notch lower than that. So 441 is considered the highest possible level you can upgrade any gear to. And the only way you can get higher is if you're doing mythic level content that doesn't even have an upgrade track. It just generates at what it generates at. And then even gear from normal can literally go to 4 item levels lower than that, which is barely sweet fuck all. It's honestly such an amazing system, and I cannot stress this enough how much better it's going to be. And to give you an equivalent version, right, we think of normal mode gear and it was capping out at 398 if you did the last 2 bosses. Imagine a world where your progression of a raid into Vault of Incarnates had that 398 or even 389 gear, very, very entry level gear from any of the Vault of Incarnate stuff. And you were able to then turn around and upgrade this normal mode gear, let's say this particular shield, 389, really not too crash hot. Upgrading that all the way to 411 item level, huge. Honestly, this is definitely unprecedented. It's going to feel amazing once we get our hands in on it. And it really cannot be understated how good this is. Likewise, the last 2 bosses have some very rare items. We know the very rare items have an elevated starting eye level, and that also means that even from normal mode, you can get to the highest possible 5 out of 5 hero track for upgrading gear. So not all trinkets are created equal. Unfortunately for a warrior, our class trinket from Neltharion isn't really too crash hot, but for any classes that this is a part of their boost list, you can run normal and start out on the hero track, which means, again, 5 out of 5 hero is the highest possible upgrade gear you can have, which is item level 441. Literally from normal mode, right? Imagine again a world where I ran normal, dropping 389 gear. I got a piece of loot from that 389 level range, but I did the last boss and got the very rare item. And from running normal, I got a 415 hunter bow or something from Razageth, for example. Literally 415 level capabilities. So definitely huge capabilities of getting some really good upgrades, or at least upgrade paths available to us with raiding items now. I'll be running, even if my guild decides to stop, I'll definitely be considering running normal for many weeks to come to really try and nail down, all the best items that I can, especially this rare cloak, for example. I think everyone and their dog wants this particular rare cloak, which is going to be kind of funny when there's 20 people all stealing secondary stats from each other. Who knows on the drop rate, right? But running normal gives you one whole extra chance, and you can upgrade this bad boy all the way to 441. So definitely well worth running normal. Number 4, quickfire round. The contracts do exist for Loam Nifim, as you can see. Check your auction house, get one rolling. Make sure you grab the 3-star one because there's no reason not to. Extra 15 rep per world quest, and this works for all Dragon Isles world quests. Forbidden Reach, Anaran Plains, Azura Span, all that good jazz, as well as the Zaralek Caverns down below. Get on it. And last but not least, coming in at number 5 is our Darkwind Fair. So this obviously starts off on Sunday, and Guilty reminded me that obviously that has its 10% rep buff and to hold off on some things. Unfortunately, I've already blown most of the hand-ins and different things. I've got one-off quests, for example, that give you at the end of it a commendation that you can hand or use the item for a massive lump sum of a bunch of rep. But if you guys haven't done any of that, or you're waiting till the weekend to get into it, hold off on handing or using any of those items or handing in certain stuff, world quests and everything like that. Even if you've already done the first bunch with contracts, your contract lasts a whole week anyway. But most importantly is the world quests will all reset on Saturday. They function off a bi-weekly, so every 3.5 days basically they'll reset. So the Saturday reset of the world quest, hold off until Sunday when the Darkwind Fair kicks in. Again, it's an extra 10% rep. Individually, I mean, sure, each world quest I do gives me 15 rep from the contract. If that now turns into 17 rep instead of the contract, who gives a shit? It's literally like 2 rep. However, broad strokes, if we're talking over the course of the week or so, I've managed to earn, say, 6,000 rep all told, and suddenly that ends up being 6,600 rep. You get the idea, like it all compounds on each other. If we're talking min-maxing, at least that'll definitely help, just by doing nothing but holding off on handing certain things in and using all certain items after Sunday when the Darkwind Fair kicks off. So that's all 5. Hopefully you guys learned a little something. If not, then leave a like on the video. But if you did learn something, leave a like on the video. Yeah. Catch you guys next time.